Meat eaters live longer. That's the headline from a new study published in February 2026. You may have already seen articles about it online. But that statement, honestly, is highly simplified. So today, we'll look at the study and what it actually found. And spoiler alert, it's not really about meat. It's about something else. Let's break it down. First, a quick intro, and then we'll dive right in. Stay tuned for more. My name is Dr. Fabian Mutach. I hold a PhD in biochemistry. I'm a German scientist and founder of Solventrix that is dedicated to close the knowledge gap between science and your daily nutrition. And if you're interested in high quality, science-based nutrition facts, then do not hesitate to subscribe to this channel. And now, back to the topic. Meat eaters live longer. In today's world, that statement almost sounds provocative. And it also contradicts some older research. For example, the EPIC study looked at 47,000 British vegetarians and found no difference in life expectancy compared to meat eaters. In Loma Linda, a Seventh-day Adventist community in California, and also in other communities that are known for their exceptional longevity, researchers followed more than 73,000 people over several years. And they found that vegetarians, especially men, lived longer and had lower rates of certain diseases, particularly, of course, cardiovascular disease. And then there's also the issue of red meat, especially processed meat. Processed meat like sausage, ham, and bacon are strongly associated with a higher risk of colorectal cancer. One suspected reason for that, by the way, is the nitrite and the nitrite salts that are used for preservation. And these can then form carcinogenic nitrosamines. Okay, so how did researchers now arrive at the claim that meat eaters live longer? Let's look at a brand new study from China. And this study examined more than 5,000 people who were already over 80 years old. Researchers then analyzed how likely these individuals were to reach the age of 100. So right away, this study was not about the general population. That's very important to understand. It focused specifically on elderly individuals. And here's what they found. Among underweight participants, and only among them, the vegetarians had a higher risk of dying earlier compared to the non-vegetarians. In other words, underweight meat eaters lived longer than underweight vegetarians. However, and that's again very important, this effect was not seen in participants with normal weight or overweight. And in this study, underweight meant having a body mass index below 18.5. Interestingly, regardless of whether participants ate meat or not, those who consumed vegetables daily also lived longer. So vegetables certainly remain important, and this study does absolutely not question that. When we look closely at these specific results, underweight elderly meat eaters living longer than underweight elderly vegetarians, we then have to ask, can we really conclude that meat eaters really live longer? To me, the answer is obvious. Not really. The real issue here is adequate nutrition and protein intake. So what happens as we age? Muscle mass declines more rapidly, bones become more fragile, and even minor illnesses can destabilize very old adults for long periods of time. Many elderly people also eat less. Appetite decreases or cooking becomes difficult. And that often leads to weight loss. Meat is a convenient source of calories, nutrients, and especially high-quality protein. And protein is essential for maintaining muscle mass, supporting the immune system, brain function, and virtually everything in the body, every important function in the body. And protein actually becomes more important with age. And that is something that is rarely discussed. I mean, among younger people, protein for muscle building is a popular topic, but protein intake in older adults, that's something we don't really talk about. Official nutrition guidelines, they reflect the increased need. The German Nutrition Society recommends about 0.8 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight for adults. For healthy people over 65, the recommendation increases to 1 gram per kilogram. And in cases of sarcopenia, that is age-related muscle loss, recommendations can even rise further, or they even rise further to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. For younger individuals with a healthy appetite, meeting these targets is usually quite easy. But in older age, it can become challenging. And that's why meat can be helpful. It provides high-quality protein and it provides it very efficiently. But meat is far from being the only option. Other animal protein sources, including fish, eggs, or dairy products like cotton cheese, are also pretty good sources. And there are also excellent plant-based protein sources such as seeds and walnuts, or nuts generally. With plant proteins, you simply need to pay attention to the amino acid balance. Many plant foods don't provide all essential amino acids on their own. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. And this issue can be easily solved by combining foods strategically. A useful rule is combining 2 parts of legumes, for example, with 1 part of grain or nuts. Good examples include beans with rice, lentils with rice, hummus, that is chickpeas with sesame, or lentils with whole grain bread. These combinations create high-quality protein sources as well. And if you are looking for a good protein supplement, feel free to check the video description below. So let's wrap things up with a short conclusion. A new study from China found that underweight elderly lived longer on average if they consumed meat and had a higher probability of reaching 100 years of age. However, the association was not observed in normal weight or overweight elderly. So the key takeaway is this. It's less about the meat itself. It's more about ensuring a nutrient-dense and protein-rich diet in older age. And that protein can come from meat, but it can absolutely come from other foods as well. And importantly, this study is not a free pass to eat unlimited amounts of meat. The researchers themselves emphasized that people who ate vegetables daily also lived longer. So this study does not overturn previous findings about healthy nutrition. Instead, it reinforces an important message. Adequate calories, sufficient nutrients, and especially enough protein become increasingly important as we age. So I hope that this helped to put the study results into perspective. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate your support. Just subscribe to this channel, and I also hope to see you again in the next video. Take care and all the best. I'm out for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.